Ancient Egypt wasn't all pyramids, golden tombs, and cats getting the royal treatment. Behind the art, the gods, and the pharaohs, there's a darker side to Egyptian mythology that is crawling with monsters you definitely wouldn't want to meet in the desert at night. Today, we're looking at the most disturbing creatures from ancient Egypt. And trust me, after this video, you'll never look at hieroglyphs the same way again. Let's start with Ammit, sometimes called the devourer of the dead. If the ancient Egyptians had a boogeyman, this was it. Imagine a terrifying chimera made of the three most dangerous animals known to Egyptians: the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the back legs of a hippopotamus. Those three animals alone killed more people than anything else in the Nile Valley. Ammit wasn't just scary to look at, her whole job was to lurk beside the scales of judgment in the underworld. When a person died, their heart was weighed against the feather of truth. If the heart was heavy with sin, Ammit would swallow it whole. That meant the person's soul was gone forever. No afterlife, no reincarnation, just total annihilation. Basically, ancient Egyptian hell was being eaten by this chimera lady and erased from existence. Not fun. But Ammit wasn't the only monster waiting in the shadows. Meet Apophis, or as the Egyptians called him, Apep. He was a colossal serpent of pure chaos. Every night, as the sun god Ra traveled through the underworld on his solar boat, Apophis tried to ambush him and swallow the sun. Imagine being so evil that your entire goal in life is to destroy daylight. Priests performed daily rituals to weaken Apophis, stabbing wax effigies of snakes, spitting on them, or even burning them. But in the myths, Apophis could never be fully killed. Every night he came back, and every night the gods had to fight him again. So if you ever thought your daily routine was tough, imagine having to battle a planet-sized chaos serpent every single night just to make sure the sun rises tomorrow. Now, things get even stranger with a demon known as Ammit, which literally translates to eater of millions. Charming, right? Ammit was described as a man with the head of a fierce hunting dog living inside a lake of fire. Egyptians believed this creature lurked in the underworld, waiting to devour unlucky souls. The only thing that kept Ammit from unleashing his appetite was Ra himself, the king of the gods. So basically, if Ra got distracted, you were dog food in a fiery pit. But wait, we're not done yet. Let's talk about serpopards. Yes, that's their real name. Serpopards were a bizarre fusion of a serpent and a leopard. They show up on ancient artifacts like the famous Narmer palette, twisting their long snake necks together. While there's no detailed myth about them, the imagery suggests they were chaotic, untamable forces, symbols of the wild desert outside Egypt's borders. Imagine a predator with the speed of a big cat and the crushing power of a snake. Ancient Egyptians saw them as a kind of nightmare fuel representing disorder itself, which makes sense. What could be scarier than a leopard with a neck like a python? And then we come to Bennu, the ancient prototype of the phoenix. Now you're probably thinking, wait, a phoenix isn't scary, it's majestic. Well, not in its Egyptian version. Bennu was associated with creation and rebirth, yes, but also with death and the burning cycle of time. Some texts describe it as a giant heron-like bird that lived on the sacred Ben stone and screamed prophecies at dawn. Imagine a massive bird shrieking at you about the end of the world every morning before breakfast. Not exactly comforting. Now, let's talk about a creature you might not expect: Sekhmet. Yes, she was technically a goddess, not a monster, but in the myths, she went completely feral. Sekhmet had the head of a lioness, and when Ra sent her to punish humanity, she went on such a rampage that she nearly wiped out the entire human race. The gods had to trick her into drinking beer dyed red to look like blood. She got so drunk that she passed out, saving humanity. But the image of a lion-headed goddess covered in gore and impossible to stop is one of the most disturbing creatures in Egyptian lore. And finally, let's end with one of the creepiest, al-Duwais. Now, this figure comes a little later and mixes Egyptian folklore with Arabian tradition, but she's too disturbing to leave out. Al-Duwais was described as a beautiful woman who lured men into the desert with her charm, only to suddenly reveal razor-sharp claws and rip them apart. Kind of like a desert vampire succubus hybrid. She represents the danger of temptation, which is just a fancy way of saying ancient Egypt invented the horror movie femme fatale. So there you have it. Ammit, Apophis, Ammit, serpopards, Bennu, Sekhmet, and even al-Duwais. Each one is proof that the ancient Egyptians didn't just build pyramids and worship cats. They also dreamed up some of the most disturbing nightmare creatures in world mythology. Which one of these horrors creeped you out the most? The soul-devouring chimera, the chaos serpent, or maybe the drunken lion goddess who almost ended humanity? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because if you don't, Ammit might just be waiting for you on the other side of the scale.